In this video, we are going to talk about the difference quotient. The difference quotient is an essential part of the study of calculus. Since it's a pre-calculus course, we want to prepare you for what the skills you'll need in calculus. So looking at this diagram, we have a point P, which is right here, and a point Q, which is right here. And there's an x value that correlates with the point Q. So we're going to say the distance between x and this new point is h. So this new point is going to be x plus h. So Q would be x plus h, comma, the function in terms of x plus h. So now, if I want to draw a line that's going to connect these 2 points, it would look like this. Now, this is called a secant line, which is up here. And so the definition of a secant line is the line that passes through 2 points on a curve. So if we were going to find the slope of line PQ, we would think about our slope formula. The slope, or the m, of PQ would equal the change in y over the change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I go back to my graph, I am going to label my q as x1 or x2 y2 and my p as x1 y1. So I'm going to do y2, which is f of x plus h minus f of x, all over x2, which is x plus h, minus x1, which is just x. Now this will simplify. My top will not simplify because I can't simplify the function in terms of x plus h or the function of x. But in the denominator, I see I have an x and a negative x. So those will simplify, so this will all just be over h. So this is the formula we're going to use when we are trying to find the slope of a curve. This quotient, kind of says right here, is known as the difference quotient. So this formula is going to be really important. You're going to want to know it, have it memorized, all that good stuff. And we use it in calculus to approximate the slope of any given curve. So again, this formula is going to be really important. We want to make sure we have it memorized. All right, let's put this into action. So if I'm going to find the difference quotient, again, we're going to use that formula. So f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So what does this mean? It means I need to take the function and plug in x plus h, subtract it from the original function, and divide it by h. So the first thing I'm going to do is find f of x plus h. So in this case, it's going to be x plus h quantity squared plus 2 times x plus h minus 1. I'm going to quickly simplify this. If you need help simplifying this, please come talk to me and we can work on this skill. All right, so this is f of x plus h is right here. So now I'm going to do f of x plus h, so x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 2x plus 2h minus 1. And I'm going to subtract that from just regular f of x, so that's x squared plus 2x minus 1. Again, notice I use parentheses because I'm going to have to make sure I subtract each term, and this is going to be all over h. So let's simplify this a little bit. So we have x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 2x plus 2h minus 1 minus x squared minus 2x plus 1 all over h. So let's look at some things that will simplify. So I have a positive x squared and a negative x squared, so those will simplify. I have a positive 2x and a negative 2x, so those will simplify. I have a negative 1 and a positive 1, so those will simplify. And then, so it looks like I'm just going to have 2x h plus h squared plus 2h all over h left. Now, I can factor out an h in the top as a GCF, which means my h's will simplify. So my final answer would just be 2x plus h plus 2. Let's give this a try with the next example. So first I want to find f of x plus h. So I'm going to plug in x plus h in for x. I'm going to quickly simplify this. Now I'm going to do f of x plus h, which is 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared minus 5. And I'm going to subtract that from the original function, which was 3x squared minus 5. And this is all going to be over h. Now distribute that negative in. I'll get 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared minus 5 minus 3x squared plus 5 all over h. So I have a 3x squared and a 3x squared that will simplify. I have a negative 5 and a positive 5 that will simplify. So I'll be left with 6xh plus 3h squared all over h. Well, I can see that I could factor out a GCF of h in the top again. So now my h's will simplify. And so my final answer will just be 6x plus 3h. All right, let's try with this last example. So first I want to find f of x plus h. So that'd be negative 10 times x plus h, which would be negative 10x plus negative 10h. Now I'm going to take that, negative 10x minus 10h, and I'm going to subtract that from the original function, which is negative 10x, and that's all going to be over h. Once I distribute, I'll have negative 10x minus 10h plus 10x all over h. Well, that'll simplify to negative 10h over h, which will simplify to just negative 10. Now, we did this example to illustrate that this is a linear function, so I know that the slope is negative 10, but how this difference quotient shows us what the slope of the line would be. So in this case, we got negative 10.